morning, students. My name is Teacher Naini. I'm your teacher in grade 7 Social Studies. Today, I'm going to discuss to you about the Unit 6, Introduction to History. The first topic is time. And the second topic, what is the difference between the Gregorian calendar and the Buddhist calendar? But before that, we're going to learn about vocabulary words. Let's start.
First word, say time. Time. Next, measure. Measure. Next word, calendar. Calendar. Next, abbreviation. Abbreviation. Next word, say BE, meaning before Buddha era. BE, before Buddha era. Next, AD. AD, meaning Anno Domini. Anno Domini. Next, decade. Decade. Next word, centuries. Centuries. Next word, say millennium. Millennium. Next, say history. History. Let's start. So our topic, time. What is the meaning of time? Everybody repeat after me. Say, the part of existence that is measured in days, years, or this process considered as a whole. One more time. What is the meaning of time? The part of existence that is measured in days, years, or this process considered as a whole. And what is the importance of time in our daily lives? Letter A. Say, time helps us to make a good habit. Organizing and structuring our daily activities. Every person, every student should know the value of time so we can use it wisely. Next, letter B. It helps us to reach higher levels of historical reasoning. And that is the reason why we're going to discuss our next topic, to understand the past event and the present event. Our second topic is the difference between the Gregorian calendar and the Buddhism calendar. Everybody repeat after me. The Gregorian calendar was first introduced by Pope Gregory XIII. In 1582 AD. It relates to Christianity. and it started after Christ's birth. The Gregorian calendar relates to Christianity. It started after the Christ's birth. It is known as Common Era or AD. What is the meaning of AD again? It stands for Anno Domini. In English, in the year of our Lord. While the Buddhism calendar, everybody repeat after me again. The Buddhist calendar originated from Buddhism. Its first year was the year after the Lord Buddha's death. That was 543 years before the Gregorian calendar started. The abbreviation BE is used after the year to mark the difference. The Buddhist calendar, it relates to Buddhism. It is used in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and also here in Thailand. And it starts with the death of Buddha. It has 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. And that is the difference between the Gregorian and the Buddhism calendar. And now, let's review the unit of time. Everybody repeat after me. The units of time are 10 years in a decade, 10 decades of 100 years in a century. And 10 centuries or 1,000 years in a millennium. Do you understand? Let's repeat. 1 decade is equivalent of 10 years. And 10 decades is equivalent of 1 century, which is 100 years. And the millennium, it is a period of 1,000 years, which is the 10 centuries. I hope did you get it? And be careful when we're going to talk about the century. Example, everybody repeat after me again. The 1400s are known as the 15th century. Now in the year 2011, it's known as the 21st century. I repeat, from 1400s to 1500s, it is known as 15th century. And the 2011, it is known as the 21st century. As you can see, the upper abbreviation is about Buddhism calendar, while the lower abbreviation is about Gregorian calendar. In 100 AD, in the Gregorian calendar, the Buddhism calendar has 634 BE. And 1000 AD, in the Gregorian calendar, the Buddhism calendar has 1534 years BE. And the 2000 AD, the Buddhism calendar has 2554 BE. According to the Gregorian calendar, we are in 3 millennium, from 100 AD to 2000 AD, which is the 21st century. And now, let's proceed to our activity. Open your book on page number 112. Are you ready? Let's start. Number 1. According to the Gregorian calendar, in which century are you born? Next. How many years ago was 100 BC? Number 3. Repeat after me. According to the Gregorian calendar, what millennium are we in now? Four. According to the Gregorian calendar, when did 15th century start and end? Next. Number 5. How many years of difference are there between the Gregorian and the Buddhist calendars? And last, in the year 2015 AD, what year will it be in BE? Again, in the year 2015 AD, what year will it be in BE? And now, let's check your answers. Number 1. According to the Gregorian calendar, in which century are you born? Answer: 21st century. Again, 21st century. Next. How many years ago was 100 BC? Answer: 2111 years. Again, 2111 years. Number 3. According to the Gregorian calendar, what millennium are we in now? Answer: we are now in 3 millennium. Again, 3 millennium. According to the Gregorian calendar, when did 15th century start and end? Answer: from 1401 to 1500. Again, from 1401 to 1500. Number 5. How many years of difference are there between the Gregorian and the Buddhist calendars? Answer. It has 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. Again, it has 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. And number 6. In the year 2015 AD, what year will it be in BE? Answer. 2258 BE. Answer. 2258 BE. And now, let's proceed to our next activity. You're going to complete the table about the Buddhist calendar and the Gregorian calendar. Everybody repeat after me. It relates to next. The first year started. Again. The first year started. Number 3. The abbreviation used after the year is. Again. The abbreviation used after the year is. And last question. The Buddhist calendar is blank, years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. The Buddhist calendar is blank, years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. Let's see the correct answer. Everybody repeat after me again. It relates to Buddhism. The Buddhist calendar relates to Buddhism, while the Gregorian calendar relates to Christianity. And the Buddhist calendar started after the Buddha's death. Again, the Buddhist calendar started after the Buddha's death, while the Gregorian calendar started after Christ's birth. The Gregorian calendar started after Christ's birth. Next, the Buddhist calendar has BE. What is the meaning of BE again? It stands for before the Buddha's era. Before the Buddha's era. And the Gregorian calendar has AD. And what is the meaning of AD? Anno Domini. Anno Domini. In English, in the year of our Lord. In the year of our Lord. And lastly, the Buddhist calendar is 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar.
And that's all for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. See you again!